Hello, my name is Emily Rose, and I teach tarot readers and the mystically minded to read Lenormand like they're talking to a friend. And today we are here to learn everything you need to know about the Scythe card in Lenormand. Let's go ahead and get started. When a scythe strikes its target, there's no denying that the object that is on the scythe's receiving end is forever changed. It's a very swift and divisive card. And for that reason, the scythe can be a little startling to draw, especially when you're beginning your Lenormand journey. And when you think about what the scythe does, it tends to strike a target and it can result in pain or sometimes inadvertently an accident. But sometimes the scythe can be taken in an advice context to cut off something that is no longer needed, something that may be dragging a querent down or a situation down. And for that reason, I can see the scythe as drawing boundaries in some ways. And it can also be looked at as kind of cutting away something that's no longer needed. But no matter what the situation is, the scythe can be one of the most telling and helpful cards that you see in Lenormand, especially if you are putting a filter on your reading to only ask for information that is in the querent's best and highest good. You're getting helpful, actionable information. And a lot of times it can assist you in preventing an accident or incident from happening, or it can assist you in embracing a change that is inevitable and perhaps needed. When it comes to interpreting the scythe, there are two very important things to keep in mind. The first is your context. Are we talking about a daily draw, or are we talking about a much larger situation, such as a marriage or an entire career or something like that? If you're in a daily context, the scythe can be some type of small accident that could happen in the day, like maybe you stubbed your toe or something like that. It could be something on a very small scale. The second thing to keep in mind when it comes to interpreting the scythe is the order of the cards. If the scythe is doing the modifying, typically what is on the left-hand side of the scythe is what is being cut or decided on or changed in some way. If you flip it though, and you have the scythe on the left-hand side, and then you have a card on the right-hand side, whatever is on the right-hand side is going to be influencing the scythe. It's usually whatever's wielding the scythe or what is going to be doing or inflicting that damage in some way. I have a post demonstrating just how important the order matters when it comes to the scythe with examples, and it's called The Scariest Card in Lenormand and How to Master It, and I will link it down below. I'm going to give you some ideas of what the scythe can mean in different contexts, but remember that the order matters a lot. So always remember that and come back to that. If we are in a work context, the scythe can represent job loss or cuts in some way. It could mean budget cuts or cutting personnel, things like that. It can also just represent making a decision, especially when it's next to the crossroads. It can say there's a decision being made and it's very decisive. If we are in a love context, next to the heart, it could be a broken heart in some way. And depending on the question, it can also represent drawing boundaries, especially when I see it perhaps with the tower modifying it. It can represent needing boundaries in a relationship, especially in an advice context. If we're in a finance context and you're kind of asking for advice in finance, then it could be talking about making cuts, where you need to make those cuts. It could also talk about the market making a sharp turn, or if you're talking about investments and a particular investment opportunity being cut off. Also in an advice context, it could say you need to be really decisive about this and you need to act quickly. Regardless of the context, always go back to the specific way that you ask the question, because that is going to inform the Lenormand cards how to answer you. Everything goes back to the question and the order that the cards are in. As I mentioned before, I have more resources for you about the Scythe card, which I have linked down below. If you would like to learn a quick 5-minute practice to boost your Lenormand confidence, I do have a free mini course, which is linked down below as well. Thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget to like and subscribe.